It's basically become a week now. Really cool. If you actually make the playoffs and you have a
Yeah.
series, you get like an extra almost week of rest. A lot of these teams didn't play their guys over the final weekend, so they get like a week to get healthy, to get your legs back. But these are teams that we're going to be looking at on Tuesday. There are 2 Tuesday playing games, couple on Wednesday, and then what we'll have is the loser of the Tuesday games play the winner of the Wednesday games, and those games will be on Friday. So there will be 3 days this week with play-in games, and the winners of these two games, guys, on Tuesday, they'll make it right in, and they'll end up
Right.
being the 7 seeds for their conferences. They'll go on and play the 2 seed. So winner of Cleveland, Brooklyn, they'll go on and they'll play the number 2 seeded Boston Celtics right now. Winner of Clippers, Minnesota, they'll go on and play the Memphis Grizzlies. And Kyle, it's kind of funny because in these two games, I just been handicapping them and watching the league all throughout the year. Cleveland and Minnesota remind me a lot of each other in that they're teams that are sort of young. They're maybe a little bit ahead of where we thought they might be. They've had really good years throughout most of the years, but now they're in a spot where they play a team that is probably a little sexier on paper, right? More people like the Brooklyn Nets and their possibility of getting to the title game or the championship, NBA finals. You've got the Clippers who now have Paul George back. They've become kind of a sexy sleeper pick. I feel like if either of these teams or both of them just getting into the playoffs and getting a series, even if they get their doors blown off by a Phoenix or a Miami or whoever they end up running into, it feels like that would be a big step for them, right? For Minnesota or for Cleveland, just get 4 games, a couple games at home, feeling the intensity. I'm rooting for them. And I do think that those two teams, both, one of them's actually favored Minnesota because they're playing at home. Yeah. Cleveland's the dog on the road. They both got a legit shot in a 1-game situation.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland, it's kind of a bummer they don't have Jarrett Allen.
Yeah, because he's been out. He's been ruled out for sure.
Yeah, he's out for sure. I know they did the workout and he did a lot of stuff and they're kind of hoping, but that's not going to happen. So they're 3-8 since he went out. They're just not the same. They're going to struggle on the inside. That's one of the reasons I like Andre Drummond's rebound prop. I think he gets over 11.5. Evan Mobley, still a young guy, and you're going to see a lot more Kevin Love than you want to see if you're a Cavs fan. You know what's interesting? It's really hard to find Kevin Love 3-point props because all Kevin Love does, that's the only fucking thing he does, is he stands at the 3-point line and he fires.
Yep.
So, but you're always looking for that 2.5. Like, can I get a Kevin Love 3-point prop at 2.5, 3.5? You can't even find them, because they already know that's going down the shitter. You're going to see a whole lot more Lauri Markkanen than you want to see. So if Cleveland was at full strength, I'd like him a lot more.
Completely agree. It's just
Minnesota is opposite. They're getting healthier and getting everyone back, and they're certainly the more talented team. And there's nothing in this world that I like doing more than betting against playoff fucking P. This moron calls himself playoff P, one of the worst playoff performers of all time. I used to love watching his commercial where he hits the game winner when he had never hit a game winner in his entire career. I mean, I like both home teams here. You can actually parlay them. They're both favored, but you can parlay them together on the money line. It's still at plus 105. I don't like, unless Paul George has a massive, massive playoff game, which is just few and far between for him. There's no shot for the Clippers. In my opinion, I just think Minnesota's way too talented. All this energy at home, I think they get it done. Brooklyn, same thing. Without Jarrett Allen, I just don't know what they do on the inside. Durant, Kyrie should feast, and Andre Drummond's going to dominate the boards.
That's the thing that hurts, Eric, for the first game in the Cleveland-Brooklyn game. Cleveland comes into this 44-38, 42-37-3 ATS. Brooklyn 44-38, 33-47-2 ATS. And, you do have Mobley back, so that's nice. He's probably not 100%. Jarrett Allen won't be there. It's hard for them from a matchup perspective. They've got Okoro, but they don't really have anyone that can guard Durant, right? I mean, you can try to throw Mobley at him, but Durant's too fast. At least Mobley, he can kind of shoot. You won't be able to shoot over him, but Durant's just kind of too quick athletically there. It's a bummer because between Allen and the Sexton injury, this team was a top team throughout a lot of the year, but I don't know if they're going to have enough bodies right now. Although on the flip side, there's a little bit of pressure on Brooklyn, right? Because you're 2 losses away from not making it in the playoffs. You got another year that would have been wasted where Durant has just been incredible. Who knows what you're going to get out of Kyrie ever. There's all these weird rumors that we might get Ben Simmons back if they are to make it into the playoffs in a series. Give us some of your overall thoughts on this Brooklyn-Cleveland matchup, Eric.
It's an interesting matchup. I mean, like Kyle said, it's just too bad Allen's playing.
Allen's not playing.
Allen's not playing. Cavs were 6th in defensive rating. Nets were 10th in offensive rating. Interesting matchup.
I mean, imagine if they had Rubio and Sexton and Jared Allen.
Yeah.
This would be a much different scenario.
They wouldn't be here.
Right. Yeah, they wouldn't
be
here.
here.
They'd already been clinched into the top, one of the top 5 seeds in the conference.
And,
no doubt about it.
I look at it like this. Now, I'm not saying that Cleveland's going to win, but we're getting at this number right now at this 8.5.
I like the number. Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at this. The Nets were a league worse, 10-31 against the spread at home.
Right.
Their defense has been bad.
Well, and a lot of that, it's important to remember, though, a lot of that was because Kyrie Irving could not play home games. So, of course,
on the
they're going to be overvalued.
On the flip side, when KD and Irving have played, they're only 10-16 against the spread. So, I mean, they haven't been covering when those guys haven't played. And in terms of matchup-wise, take it from me, the Piston fan that had high hopes when Magic Drummond was drafted way back when. This guy's a lost puppy dog in pick and roll.
Magic Drummond.
He's almost as bad as Karl Anthony Towns defending the pick and roll.
He falls back, and that's going to leave Garland opportunity. And I mean, I like Garland. I think he's insanely underrated.
He is. He should be the most improved player in the league this year. He really did take a massive leap.
Yeah.
I think the Cavs can stay within the number. I'm going to wait, though. I'm going to see if I can get a 9, maybe a 9.5, because I think it is going to get a little bit inflated. Nets did allow the 10th most second chance points this year. And there's something just like not right with their defense.
I know.
I mean, I watched the Pacers game. I wasn't, I just wasn't that.
Well, they throw too many small guards out there. Yeah. So you can really pick on them and attack them. Like if Kyrie and Mills and Curry aren't lighting it up offensively, they're liabilities sometimes defensively if you can attack them and shoot over them. So now all of a sudden they have 3 or 4 smaller guards that are a little bit undersized. They're not quite as good defensively, or, people don't think about a guy like a Joe Harris, but he helps them out a hell of a lot, right? He provides a lot of things for them, a lot of those intangibles. You get the spacing. You have a guy who you just can't attack and go right at defensively. So I don't like them really moving forward, getting deep. I think they still win this game. But I agree with Eric. I'm leaning right now Cleveland at the number, but I would think wait, because I don't think people are rushing to bet Cleveland, especially now with the news that Jared Allen.
Yeah, as soon as that becomes more mainstream, that number will pop.
Tomorrow that might be 10.
Also, I'm just going to say in every playing game, I'm going to be playing the first half under. First half unders went 4-0 last year. I mean, I'm going to be playing those as well too. I'll be on every first half under.
I like for this. Can we take a moment to shit on Ben Simmons too? Like, this is a perfectly healthy 25-year-old kid. Like, I know. Okay. You didn't want you had the mental health issues because you didn't want to face the Philadelphia public because you can't shoot the goddamn ball and you refuse to work on it. So you're a mental midget. Sorry, that might make some mental health freaks mad, but that basically you're a mental midget. So you get traded. There's no excuse now. You are 100% healthy. You're teamed up with 2 of the top 7 players in the league, probably still the best player in the league in Kevin Durant.
Yep.
And your punk ass still cannot get on the court. No, thank you. Ben Simmons needs to get his shit together. It's pretty pathetic.
They say he could be back for one. We heard the same thing about a guy on the other team that we're going to kind of shift over and talk about now, the Clippers. But I mean, how could either of these guys play when they haven't played one game the whole year?
Yeah.
Honestly, you would put them in a playoff game.
Yeah, I don't know what you do now. He should have been playing weeks ago. Like,
I know
it's just so irresponsible.
Because now it's going to be the most pressure that he would have faced at all. This guy he couldn't make a free throw last year, and that was the thing, right? Like you were talking about it, and that to me is the problem. And it's, I don't know, does he have mental health issues, and was he struggling with stuff in the offseason? Sure, maybe, but did I see a guy on the court in pressure curl up into a ball? That's what I care about more, is on the basketball court, right? And then what you do there, and he couldn't hack it. He couldn't handle it.
He won't even get on the court. He won't even get on the court anymore. I mean, what the hell is that? What is going on here?
Even if he did, his conditioning is not going to be
He's going to be able to defend. You're
where
telling me he's going to play defense on Jason Tatum? That's what you're going to have him do if they win this game?
He would have been great at it too, because he is a terrific defender.
I know,
when he's
but he's going to go out there
4 defensive players in the
not
league.
having played and try to react to that guy who's been incredible. You're right. He would have been perfect to try to slow him and Brown down. And it'd be a perfect guy to go put all his energy out there on that side of the ball. But we'll see if Simmons is back. We'll see if Kawhi is back. We know that Paul George is now back, and the Clippers have had a decent little stretch. The Clippers, they finish up their season at 40, 41 ATS, about even ATS team. Minnesota 46-35 overall, 42, 37 and 2 ATS. PG is back, but I was kind of going to agree with Kyle in that, Eric, win or lose this game, I don't know if most people realize how good this Minnesota team is, right? They were 10 games over 500 this year. They have a couple really, really good players. I don't like Patrick Beverley personally as a player because I've seen him do some cheap shit, right? Like, I don't like that kind of cheap stuff from behind, but the way that he lifts everybody up and the way that he's annoying in practice, it has definitely raised the level of guys like Towns and probably Ant and D'Angelo and some of those guys who you can't really take a moment off because that guy's going to annoy the hell out of you and he's going to get right on you. He's actually seemed like he's helped them. I like this Minnesota team, and I actually think, Memphis has been incredible this year, but whoever wins this game has to feel pretty good about going in and playing a Memphis team that's really unproven in the playoffs versus having to run into a Phoenix team that's looked like a juggernaut through a lot of this year.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really interesting game. And I think I'm going to be in the minority here. Gino, you weren't here when I went on my 8-minute D'Lo, why he sucks rant and a negative player and everything. I look at this. They played 4 games this year. Clippers were 3-1.
Okay, but I got to tell you that D'Lo, he's the reason that crowd has been pretty crazy for the last little while. He sort of called the crowd out and said, we got to be better, get crazy, get hyped. And that crowd's been hyped.
He's a negative player. He has a negative plus minus.
If he's your 1 or your 2, I don't think you're in good shape. I think in the role that he's in right now, you can maybe win with him in this role because you don't need him every single night to be a guy that's giving you 25. I think if you had to depend on him, I agree with you. I don't think he can be your 1 or probably even your 2.
When I looked at this, Clippers and Wolves played 4 games this year. Clippers 3-1 straight up, 3-1 ATS. The only game they lost is when George didn't play. George averaging 25.3, 8.3, 6 assists against the Clippers. And you look at Edwards. Edwards is averaging 7 points less at home. 4.5 less when he plays the Clip. Towns has struggled this year. He's only averaging 15 when he's played the Clippers. And the thing that sticks out for me is there is this game. I mean, it was we did that show and I said take the Edwards over prop. And that was the game he got 49 and they were up huge against the Spurs. Like I think it was like 17 points and they're trying to get him the 50 burger. And them trying to do that just kind of showed me how inexperienced this coaching staff, this team is. And they legitimately almost lost this game. Now I'm reading stuff and hearing stuff that their game plan is just to double Paul George and make the other guys beat him from 3. This Clippers team has the second best 3-point field goal percentage shooting team in the NBA. I like the Clippers here. I mean, I've seen it as high as 3.5. It looks like it's 3 right now on BetUS. But I'm going to wait up. I'm going to try to get a 3.5 on this, and then I'll probably sprinkle a little bit on the money line too.
It's tough.
My issue is I think they are the sexiest, most popular, trendiest, like underdog team. I'm actually shocked they're even a dog just from the way that the conversation is about them. Like 0 people are giving Minnesota a chance. This is one time, Eric, you and I very rarely disagree. I think this Clippers team is like pretty well coached, and I think they've done a good job overachieving this year. I do not think anything of them at all. Like I don't think they're much at all. And I think they might get blown out. I wouldn't be shocked if they lost both games. Honestly, I think the Pelicans can beat them too. And I'm dead wrong, but I'm not ready to just believe in them. I think we're going to get a massive Ant Edwards game. I think he's going to show up and I think he's going to stamp himself as sort of another guy. And I think we're going to get a series where he's going to have a game where he scores 40 or 45 points. I think Towns is going to really play well in here. I think there's going to be this weird Patrick Beverley back against the Clippers. He's going to be flying around, annoying the hell out of people, like pissing off Paul George and everyone and really getting under their skin. So give me Minnie. Eric, you and I will have a beer bet or a joint bet on that one with maybe like a +3 there for the Clippers in Minnesota.
For you Laker fans, I do have some positive news for you too.
Okay.
Kyle, you may not know this, but I have a lot of little birdies that talk to me. Okay. I had a little birdie tell me that Kawhi would go to the Lakers if LeBron leaves. So, I mean,
I don't know. I don't like LeBron that much, but I can't. I don't want to pay a superstor that takes nights off to go play.
I would
go with his grandmother. No, thank you. I'll pass on Kawhi Leonard.
And here's what's funny. I know people don't like LeBron, which is funny because, and even the things that are funny is the people like that don't like LeBron and AD just don't want to mention that they won a title 3 years ago. They did. The Lakers,
title doesn't I'm a Lakers guy. That title doesn't mean anything.
Well, it means title. To me, it means everything. It means everything because this team was done. We were the worst team in the league. We were a laughing stock. We had the worst year over and over. That was everything. That sort of brought us back to relevance. And two, to me, it showed me that we made the right call getting LeBron and AD and not getting Paul George and Kawhi. If you just look at what those two groupings of players have done in comparison, who's been more successful?
Sure. No, you're 100% right.
That's all I'm saying. Is that
you're 100% right. I
remember that summer.
Even though the bubble title, it just didn't. I don't know.
And sure, and maybe it doesn't feel as much to you or to some Laker fans, and maybe there are some that feels great to. But if you're just comparing what these groupings of players have done, the Lakers guys won. The Clippers guys spit out and had one of the biggest chokes in playoff history when they blew that series to Denver a couple years back. So, again,
I mean, in fairness, I did call it on your podcast too that Denver was going to beat the Clippers.
You called that. You bet that. What I will say about them, Ty Lue is a much better coach than Doc Rivers.
Of course,
much better.
100%,
million times better. So I don't think they're gonna
I don't have 3 plays on this game. I have 3 plays. I want to give them out because I know Gino's got a night of torture.
Go ahead.
Major League Baseball auction thing. So I just cannot. I'm going to be sitting and watching some cool movie, drinking a beer, thinking about how horrible Gino's night is going. So I apologize to you, my friend, for that. But no, Paul George and Karl-Anthony Towns are both at 27.5 on their points. I like the under for both. Paul George has only hit that over 1 time since he's been back. They're going to double team him. And I don't trust Paul George in pressure situations. He comes up small time and time and time again. So I think Paul George goes under. Karl-Anthony Towns, Eric mentioned it, only averaging 15 points a game against the Clippers. More importantly, he's gone under this 27.5 in 14 of his last 18 games. And you're getting a -105 price on the under when he's doing this, nearly 90% of the time. So the numbers just don't add up for me. I like the under for both Towns and Paul George. And I also like the Timberwolves -3.5. I think Gino's right. This could be a blowout here. I know the Clippers can shoot the 3. They're going to be on the road here. And I just don't think if Paul George shows up, they have a shot, but I don't trust Paul George in pressure situations. I can't do it. Give me the Wolves -3.5, Paul George and Towns both under 27.5 points.
And it's the basketball fan in me. I want to see these young teams that had good years just get themselves a series. Even whether it's this game or the next game, I want to see Cleveland win and I want to see Minnesota win one of these two because I think that would be a really good step for both of these franchises. And I like a lot of their young groups. Like I like Ant a lot there. I think that guy could be a superstar. He's got the right kind of drive. Sure. On the other side, I love Mobley. He's ahead of schedule. Like Eric said of Garland, he was impressed me so much this year. If they can keep a couple of those guys together and find a way to get into a series and get beat up, in a game or two against a Miami or a Boston, that would be great for them. So Eric, give us some final thoughts on this Clippers, Minnesota.
I expect both teams to come out tight. I'll be on the first half under here. I'm a favorite. I'm a lock in the Clippers. I think, they're going to be able to make some shots. I think this being the first playoff game, the Wolves being a little young team, they're going to be a little tight. I like the matchup. I like the Clippers.
Clippers or Eric there. Kyle and I will be on the opposite side. I'm leaning Cleveland with the points in that game, but I'm going to wait to see if we can get the biggest number possible. Kyle, I'm sure you'll post your plays tomorrow. Also, we'll give you a follow there on Twitter, on social media. Eric, buddy, thanks so much for hanging out and getting this one done a little early. I've got a marathon, miserable fantasy baseball draft to get to right now, which will just be brutal. But we will be back for you on Wednesday to preview the Wednesday games. Kyle, I'm going to see you tomorrow morning, talk a little baseball, right? Noon Eastern time. Kyle and I will talk a couple of our baseball plays for Tuesday, and then we'll be back Wednesday and Friday getting you set up for those play-in games. Head to oldsmokeclothing.com. Check out that BTV shirt. It says, I don't bet, I win. And when you're at Old Smoke, use the promo code GINO. It'll get you free shipping on your order. Head to BetUS for all your wagers. We are heading out for